What's going on, filmmakers? I'm Alexandru, and today we're gonna go a little bit outside and play with this setup. So basically I have here a Sony Fx3 with the 50mm f1.2 and the NiSi True Color variable ND filter. So I'm gonna shoot everything at f1.2, which is kind of crazy. I'm gonna leave the camera, do the autofocus, and I'm gonna use S-Log 3. So let's see how the image is gonna look.
Just wanna forget back to before we lost it, what we can't get back, arguing about something stupid, smoke and mirrors, losers, winners, don't know who I am anymore. If I haven't got you, I got nothing. The fool's gold and I don't know what for. You turn my black and white to color. You made it beautiful.
So let me know what you think about the footage coming out of this setup. To be honest, I was quite impressed on the variable ND filters. So I shot everything at f1.2 and the variable ND filter had enough range to cover everything I wanted. So I didn't have my highlights blown out or anything like that. Of course, it wasn't the brightest day in the world, but the filter had enough stops to go even more. So really loving this filter, no magenta shifts or green shifts, so that's amazing. And now talking a little bit about this camera. So what do I think about the Sony Fx3? I have the Sony a7S III for a while now and I got used to it pretty good. I really love the camera. And when I got my hands on the Sony Fx3, it was a little bit weird because all the buttons and all the settings are a little bit different. Even though these two cameras are pretty similar, this camera has a different button layout, different settings going on and all that. So I was, it was a little bit weird. But after I got used to it, it was a little bit better in terms of how intuitive this camera is than the Sony a7S III. So the Sony a7S III is more like a hybrid camera built for photos and videos. But this one is built with videography in mind. So all the buttons and all the settings are really easy to get once you have your hand on the camera. So from this point of view, I think it's very well built. You don't really need the cage as well because you have a lot of mounting points, and overall it feels a little bit more solid. Even though you don't have the viewfinder as you have on the Sony a7S III, you do get this beautiful top handle, which is pretty comfortable in your hand. And it also has a lot of audio features that are pretty professional. I don't know what to say, even though it's a price difference between those two, I would probably go with the Fx3 now after I tested it a little bit because I like the form factor a little bit better and it looks a little bit more cooler. So overall, this is my first impression on the Sony Fx3. I'm a little bit late to the party, I know, but hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and follow my other videos as well. I do a lot of behind the scenes and I explain everything I do when I shoot commercials and all that. Cheers.